nice win, but really, really good half in Bloomington the other night. I thought that KJ's return was obviously impactful. Really nice first half. I thought that Ben kind of set the tone coming off of our previous game with his effort on the first play. I thought our ability to get on the glass was a big part of that early run and early success, and then I thought our pace was very good. Obviously, scoring 60 in the first half, our pace was good. Our defense was solid, and I didn't think we did anything extraordinary. We shot 34% from the three. I just thought that our effort and our energy and our focus was really good. Now it's next up in this league, and it's at Michigan State, and a team who's undefeated, and a team who's won 10 or 11 in a row, and no shock, it's an old veteran team. They do Michigan State things. They play really fast and on makes and misses. Jeremy Fears has been a catalyst for them in terms of pushing tempo. Akins is having a fabulous year as one of the wings. They throw a plethora of bigs at you, and they're athletic. Tom's obviously said he wasn't very happy with their last game defensively. That's all blowing smoke. They were actually, they're actually really good defensively and held some teams almost, pitching a shutout. So we know what we're in for. It's always the annual rock fight, and make your way to the parking lot and strap it on. And if you don't get out of there without a win. And you've got to play really hard and play well. And we got beat in there last year and did a lot of things good, but not good enough to win on the road.
How have you seen KJ respond physically since the game, and just where he's at with that?
Yeah, fine. It's a continual recovery. It's not, he'll have to work towards 100% daily, and that's fine. But we had a couple of days off after Indiana. We hadn't had any off, and we had 5 games in 12 or 13 days, and the West Coast trip in there. So, I'm sure the rest helped him, and he was productive in practice.
Physicality, it's kind of a team that your team hasn't seen Michigan State yet. Is some of the guys, how do you drive home that physicality element?
Oh, let's see. Arkansas, Tennessee, take your pick. Missouri happens to be really good and really physical. There's a reason we play the schedule we play. We're not playing, a bunch of rum-dums in the non-league. We're playing physical teams that can go beat you up and get you ready for what lies ahead. And Michigan State's obviously, one of those teams. Northwestern, they called 2 fouls in the entire half in a bloodbath. So we've seen physical, we've seen all that. So that doesn't seem to bother us too much.
How much did Tommy benefit from KJ's return? Did it seem like he might have looked more comfortable?
Tommy probably benefited more from his head coach putting him in spots to be successful. But yes, he did benefit from KJ's return. He had 2 really, really high IQ players, and it's one of the things we did a much, much better job of is playing through Tommy. And obviously, KJ finds him, and that leads to some opportunities to score, and he had a great first half. But Tommy's presence is much more than a stat number, and it's his problem solving, it's his IQ, it's his size, his length. All those things are impactful. But I did a better job of putting him in spots to utilize him and play through him, and that helps both of those guys.
I know he's played against adults pretty much his whole life, but how have you seen him adjust through the first month and a half, 2 months of this?
Nothing phases Tommy. Tommy's he's like the wily veteran that's just about seen it all. He thrives in environments where it's loud, and he loves that. He loves that energy. He's seen guards guard him, bigs be physical with him. He's seen every ball screen coverage. You know, he and KJ are wily veterans when it comes to that experience, and so it's unique, but it's also very comforting as a coach to know that he's, you know, he doesn't back down from those moments.
Maybe it goes without saying with the guys, but you talk about Big Ten title picture, where they're at, where you guys want to be, and how that is at this point in time.
We haven't even talked about it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a really good league. Probably evidenced more this week than in any other with some of the outcomes of games. And you go on the road, and teams travel, and teams get a guy injured, and you know we've dealt with that, and teams get a guy sick and whatever, and you better figure out how to just man up. You know, I think it's a long season. I've said it many times. We're trying to get better every day. We're trying to prepare for the NCAA tournament and be the best we can be then. And we'll total them up at the end of the year and see where we're at.
You mentioned the schedule a few times at non-con. Have you had a second to reflect with what it meant for this year's team to see what you guys saw before you get in full blown in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we thought it would be. You know, really good teams. You know, I think we had some maybe questions. You know, we play Missouri every year. You know, after their season last year. Now, Missouri's proven to be one of the top teams in the SEC, and you know, it's probably satisfied just about every area that we wanted to hit. And you know, we've seen the great defense of Tennessee and the physicality. We've seen the fast play. We've seen in Alabama. You know, we've been on the road. We've seen great environments. So you know, I don't think there's anything that you know, we've seen five-way switching. We've seen hard hedges. We've seen, you know, drops. We've all with elite athletes and elite caliber players. And that's what this team needed. This team didn't need cupcake schedule and a false reality. So we've been punched in the face. We've gotten back up, and that's what the Big Ten provides for you. It's an opportunity to get punched, and you better get your rear end off the mat and get back up. And we'll see how it all plays out at the end of the year.
You've won 3 in a row on the road in the Big Ten play. Just caveat, all 3 games are different. Just like, what does it take to be maybe consistent on the road like that?
Connectivity, togetherness, ability to communicate, toughness. You know, it's something that we talk about. That, you know, to be any good in this league, you got to be tough enough to go win on the road. You've got to be tough enough to win when the ball doesn't go in. You know, you understand you know, we talk a lot about the runs teams go on at home. You got to be able to withstand those, find your own, and you know, I think it's a tribute to, you know, how tough this team has become in a quick amount of time with really 10 new guys.
Is that toughness this quickly? Is that something you thought you might have to have a personal heavier hand in, or you'd like to see it come organically like that? Was that tough?
I try to still have a pretty heavy hand in all that. You know, I try to make practices harder than the games. I try to create environments. I try to create stress. I try to create adversity in practice while still trying to build some confidence. You know, our practices aren't for the weak. If you don't want to practice and get better, then you know, you don't need to come to school here. But I think that mentality is what this group has just thrived on, and they've been really good with handling that.
Michigan State's proven to be a pretty deep team. Obviously, you guys have your own depth there. How important is that second unit versus second unit battle in a game like this?
Yeah, their depth's really good. You know, they bring off, and maybe in a lot of ways get more athletic when they go to their bench. Carr, Booker, Richardson, you know, all those guys are really, really good. Fiedler kid's playing good. He just had a big game. So this team gets maybe more athletic, and that's where they kind of can really make their run. Michigan State team's had a real knack for just kind of there, and then all of a sudden it's a 10-0, 12-2 run, and you look out there and it's maybe not a lot of their starters. and so you got to match that. You got to match their energy, the one thing you've got to try to limit with them is their easy baskets and their offensive rebounds, and that group is, with that depth, they're just relentless with all of that.
What difference has Jeremy Fears made for them kind of running the show this year?
Oh, I think he's someone Tom really trusts. I think Tom, I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth because I don't coach him, but he's a guy that sets the table for everybody. He's not out there trying to be a huge scorer. He's a guy that can if he needs to, but his pace, his speed, he's taken pretty good care of the ball for a team that plays that fast. And then, he's a tough as heck defender. So, I think that's everything starts and stops at the point guard spot, and I think Tom really trusts him.
Michigan State seems to defend the three well. Of course, you like the three. So, what's key in those kinds of matchups?
Making them. We're good. I mean, we've seen that from multiple teams already. Try to take that away. Again, we'll take whatever's there. If they give us, if they give us shots in the paint, we'll take those. And I think we've got to avoid just taking a lot of hard twos. But it's what they do. We know it's coming, and we'll see how the matchups go and how the chess match takes place during the game. But we've got to get enough opportunities where we crease the defense, and we've got a couple pretty good guys that find their way to the paint as well.
I think you challenge your guys to be the hardest playing, toughest team in the Big Ten. How much do you relish a chance to go up against another team that's traditionally pretty high in that pecking order?
They're at the top. They're at the top. I don't know, what's Tom been there, 55, 60 years now? I mean, he's as old as that barn over there, but they do what they do, man. I've got so much respect for that guy because of how hard they play and how he coaches them, and he's got a veteran group that does that, and again, that's why we play the non-league schedule. Rick Barnes the same way, just old, wily, tough, and smash you in the mouth, and that's what you get with Tom Izzo. And if you don't get off the mat once they hit you, they bury you, and you're 6 feet under, and you got to rise to that occasion, and that's who I've always been my whole life. And you get up off the mat and throw the next haymaker and see if it lands, and let's roll. So yeah, it'd be a good test.
Since you guys kind of really hit this peak again, like your profile defensively is pretty much the same year over year, like new faces. Like, how do you guys do that? Like, you have new guys, but everything statistically remains pretty much in line.
Yeah, I think we just do what we do. It starts with effort. That's why we lost. That's why we got beat by USC. Our effort was awful, and without a really good player, but you have to set some standards that you're going to live up to, and I think we do that every year. We talk about it. We're getting ready to go to a film session here. We're going to talk about those things. Those are standards we want. Our guys want to know it. Our guys take a ton of pride in being able to keep achieving at high levels and keep striving for more. And like I said, it's we haven't reached our ceiling for sure, but we have to keep raising the floor. And those are the standards we've had every year, and we don't vary from those things.
With Dre, in the midst of the best stretch of his still young career, but what did you see as maybe a turning point or a change where he just started putting consistent effort, production?
Yeah, the road trip was good for him, where he just, like I said, I think the game slowed down for him, and then he became very decisive. He was always playing a little bit hesitant on offense. Well, if I miss this shot, am I getting taken out? If I foul here, am I taken out? And we had to go through that, some with him. But now his confidence is high. He's so talented. He fits perfectly with what we're trying to do on the offensive side, and his shot making ability is at a premium. He's a guy that can really do that. So I think confidence and just finally being comfortable enough that the game has slowed down in his head, and he's comfortable seeing what's out there and taking advantage of that. Thank you.